Oh my god, look at the colour. Can you see?
Yeah.
Oh, our plane's in it. Oh.
We're Lauren and Craig, and since 2008 we've been backpacking, campervanning and volunteering our way around the world. Our aim is to have as much fun as possible and live as cheaply as we can, and we've certainly achieved that over the years.
Cheers. Happy travels.
I've always thought of the Maldives as an expensive honeymoon destination, and not the sort of place where you'd find two cheap backpackers like us. But after doing some research, I discovered we could stay on the local islands for way cheaper than the resorts, and it was decided that we'd go there, and we ended up spending 3 weeks island hopping around the country. After arriving in the capital, we arranged for a speedboat to take us north to the collection of islands known as the Bar Atoll. 2 hours later, and we arrived at a local island where we'd be spending our first week.
So we have just arrived at our island, checked into our hotel, and this is the Bikini Beach where you're allowed to swim in your bikini or swimming trunks. There's hardly a soul around. Where's it? You all set? Go.
There are a few rules you need to follow on the local islands due to it being a Muslim country, and it's very different to being on a resort. There's absolutely no alcohol allowed, and you need to dress respectfully. We couldn't believe how lucky we were. We had this incredible beach basically to ourselves, and we were paying just $50 a night for bed and breakfast. We spent hours snorkeling, and the sea was full of colourful fish. But sadly, like a lot of places, the reef was completely bleached. The owner of our guest house had his own boat, so he was able to take us on some private excursions for just $25 per person. The first trip we went on was to an incredible sandbank in the middle of the sea, and it looked like a photo taken straight from a brochure. As we approached this little island, the water changed from dark blue to bright turquoise, and it was as clear as gin. The boatmen headed off to do some fishing, and they left us on the island for an hour, leaving just an umbrella and a tub of coconut for us. Our second excursion was to a resort island. This place costs $1,000 a night to stay in, and we paid just $30 for a day visit. We were treated like royalty for the day, and put on the back of a golf cart and taken to our chosen destination, which was the infinity pool. Our next stop was a stroll along the boardwalk, which led to the floating villas. Coral was just as bleached here as it was on the local island, but there were definitely more fish around, and that's due to there being a fishing ban around the resort. We were able to watch the sunset from a beach before catching the boat back to our local island. The following day, we arranged to go on a sunset dolphin trip, and it was just us on the boat with our guide. The sea was incredibly calm, and it was a delight to watch the dolphins swimming in the bow of our boat. the trip so much that we decided to go again the following day. Our host kindly offered to take us on a free snorkel trip, so we headed to an area where we saw lots of turtles and some amazing soft corals which actually had some life and colour to them. It was time for us to leave, and this time we're heading south to the Area Atoll to see a new group of islands. We had to head back to the capital of Mali on one boat and then catch another one to the new island. This island was much bigger and it would be about a 20-minute walk to the Bikini Beach, so we made sure to check into a guest house that had free bike hire. After having the beach to ourselves at the previous island, we were faced with sharing this one with about 20 other people, and we really got the impression that you had to wake up early because people were hogging the deck chairs. We were hoping to do some snorkeling here as well, but our host told us the reef was actually too far away to swim to with the strong current. Luckily there was a tiny reef near the beach which was home to lots of turtles. Albeit the sea was really clear and beautiful, there just wasn't enough to keep us entertained in the area. We couldn't do much snorkeling, and it was a long trip to the beach which was busy, so we decided to leave a couple days early and head south again. We had a long day ahead of us heading to the next island in the Area Atoll. Instead of catching a speedboat, we managed to find a cheaper option and get the local ferry, which cost just $1.50 for the 2-hour journey. We then had a 4-hour wait on a different island and a further 3-hour ferry to the final destination. Finally, we arrived at the beach and had it all to ourselves, so we felt like we made the right choice coming here. The weather took a bit of a turn. It was rainy season after all, but we had some crazy storms rolling in. The guest house we were staying at was brand new and of really high quality, so it was a beautiful place to stay, and just behind it was a great area to go snorkeling. Sadly, when we were snorkeling near the shore, we found an area where the locals clearly throw all of their rubbish. It was disgusting. The sea floor was covered in nappies, rubbish bags, and plastic was floating in the water. We were so disappointed. We really hope the locals become more aware of the harm they're doing and start to protect these beautiful islands. It was time for us to head to our final island in the Maldives, and we were on a mission to swim with Manta Rays. This trip was a lot more expensive than the others just because they have a monopoly on it, so it cost $60 per person. It was just the two of us on the trip, and we were taken on a 10-minute boat ride to where the manta rays come to feed on plankton. It was amazing. We had about 5 huge manta rays swimming around us, and they can grow up to 3.5 meters wide. It was the perfect end to our 3 weeks in the Maldives, and it was time for us to head back to the airport and fly to the cheapest destination we could find, and that ended up being Germany.